Hello, I'm Santiago. I'm here with Rashmi Khilnani, and uh, we are lucky to have her here in London again. And she very kindly invited me to her hotel here in Chelsea, where she's staying for a few weeks, and talk about courage and life in general.
So Santiago is an amazing artist and writer in his own right. It's wonderful to be here. Santiago, how do you feel courage is there any area in your life right now that you feel you lack courage, that somehow you would like to be more strengthened in that area of your life?
Oh, definitely, definitely. Where does courage come from? I mean, I ask myself sometimes that, because yeah, like we were talking a little bit briefly before about the difference between being brave and being courageous, and if you can say something about that, because I do feel a lack of courage to
What do you
live.
feel is the difference between being brave and courageous?
I feel that courage is a quality of the soul,
Yes.
and bravery is not particularly a quality, but something more that has to compete and be more than others. So maybe it comes more from a conditioned mind than the real self.
I feel very much, to answer the first part of your question, Santiago, that courage is very much an innate quality that comes from being authentic to the truest inner part of our beingness. And these are all words we're using which make it difficult to really describe or feel the authentic feeling behind what the words are. But when one is really being oneself without the conditioning and the masks and the prerequisites pushed on us by, civilized behavior and judgments and society, etc., authority figures in our lives, uh, courage means that we're not going to be outrageous and an anarchist just for the heck of that. It means that our mind is aligned with our heart, is aligned with our body, is aligned with our soul, is aligned with connection to this amazing planet that we're on. It means that we have the authentic capacity to really align the thought with the word, with the deed. To really speak, walk our talk, as we say. So that means aligning the word with the thought, with the deed. Not having the mind is thinking something, the mouth is speaking something else, and the body is acting in a third direction. Ultimately, the action speaks louder than the words, but even the words, as we become more masterful in this energy of courage and authentic beingness, the three align, and it becomes effortless, because our soul won't have anything but that integrity. And that integrity doesn't come from judgment or righteousness or good and bad, right and wrong, and the polarities. It comes from authentic balance. It comes from a mind that is married to the heart, where the heart is the captain of the ship, the feeling body, the gut instinct. And there is a marriage of the mind, body, and the spirit. And there's a detached witnessing of the mind, body, and the spirit. Does this make sense, or is it a bit?
Yeah, makes
How
sense.
does that feel?
Yeah, yeah, it feels right.
And do you feel that when, for example, you're painting and you and the canvas and the painting and the atmosphere and everything becomes one, that you're in that space of courage where you can really create from that authentic space, and it doesn't matter what people will say or do or think about your art, because that's your courage, that you are making your statement, and ultimately it's not even a your separate ego person thing, it's just a phenomena that occurs from nothingness to manifest.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. All I can say is that it is absolutely like that, and somehow freedom and the concept and word of freedom comes into courage in relation to the paintings that you were mentioning. that I do, and I like to feel and think that courage, just now, hearing you say this, is related with freedom, because when I paint, I feel very free. In terms of movement, in terms of the line movement, in terms of colors, in terms of making mistakes, because and that courage of just going and going and going, it's also a sense of freedom and acceleration, and a great sense of.
So, is it possible to take that same feeling and that same amazing balance onto the canvas of your life?
Well, that'd be good. That'd be good.
Hi, this is Rashmi and Santiago. We're here in London doing our third little YouTube show here for you guys and for each other, as we're having this amazing little discussion about the now moment and the stumbling blocks to authentic being and becoming. So we've been discussing the cooperation and competition. So I really feel that the age of Pisces that we've now coming to a closure on, 13,000 years on this planet, have been about the male energy. This is not masculine and feminine. This is the energy of the manifest, the energy of doing, becoming, shaking, making happen, you know, and competing and conquering and win-lose, fight-flight. And this energy is now receding big time, and all the projects and the beingness around that is not going to succeed anymore. Its time is coming to an end, as we are seeing as many of our systems, socially, politically, economically, are collapsing. So if we move now to the frequencies of the now moment, these are the frequencies of the photonic energy, which is pure light. And this energy is the energy of cooperation. It's the energy of in Lakesh. In you, I see another me. It's the energy of sharing. Share and save the world is what Maitreya says. This is not just something that's goody-goody anymore. This is something that really works. And if we start creating now from a wide spectrum, not just of me, my family, my country, my friends, but from a real vast spectrum of win-win, then we are going to create magnificent scenarios of heaven on earth. We're going to create amazing, amazing vistas for ourselves and others, and we're going to win for everybody. There's plenty of food on the planet, etc. So I'm saying all this stuff here, and I would just like to see what my wonderful, majorly artistic friend Santiago feels about what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I completely resonate with you. I see it that way, and like we were talking about earlier as well about living in this new way of envisioning living in community, which I don't know how it's going to turn out. Sometimes I think we're not ready yet for living in community because we've kind of forgotten how to, and we become so individualistic, and what you were saying just now, so competitive and so attached to certain things, that the fact of sharing and living in a community, I don't know, it gets a bit blurry, but I feel that that's where we're going.
Very much so. And I think it's important to remember that we can cooperate and share and be in community and still be individuals, still have our own space, still be ourselves and not part of a mob, you know. And that is difficult to conceive of at the moment, because a lot of the communities all over the world have not totally succeeded to find that balance between sharing and yet giving people space to be individuals and themselves. But I think it's coming for sure, and just remembering that creating from a broader spectrum will give you a much better result now. And don't just go by what I'm saying or Santiago's feeling. but experiment for yourself and see if that works for you. It's very much worked for me in my life. I've sold my studio and I'm making films, spiritual films, and writing powerful spiritual books that are being channeled, and finding that I'm able to come out of linear time and space and linear money games and still fly. I'm flying, you know, and things happen and synergy happens and the right people pop up, and then people say you're lucky, but it's not luck, it's courage, and it's taking the risk, and it's not just talking about loving everybody, but starting by loving ourselves, and even loving the bits that are not perfect. I love eating chocolate and drinking Coca-Cola, and then loving others as well, and dropping the judgment. So let's keep working on that, and I wish you all a wonderful time experimenting on sharing and cooperation. Lots of love from Rashmi and Santiago.